Hello everybody, we're now off the boat and we're staying in an apartment at Gochek. It's got quite amazing scenery behind us with really large rocky hills. But the following video is just a few snapshots of what we've been doing in the last week. As I mentioned in a previous video, you can buy a whole range of different things from people selling from backs of the boat in the Gochek area. This week, while we were anchored out, getting the boat ready for lift out, we had a small motorboat come past selling stuffed mussels. They were absolutely delicious. We bought a dozen and they were fantastic.
Yeah. And the other side.
Güzelmiş ha. Suyun içine de giriyor mu?
Airport.
Millet hepsi aha diyor, bunlar diyor ferman diyor.
There are a couple of people I sail with occasionally out of Sandringham Yacht Club in Melbourne, and as it happened, they were in the same area as us. We arranged to meet up, and they came and visited us on our boat, and we also went to a restaurant for the evening. We had a really good night, and it was great just to catch up with them.
When we caught up with Warren and Karina, we couldn't get onto the restaurant jetty because there was a whole range of Russian boats coming in. There have been a lot of Russian boats in the area. But it actually made for quite an entertaining night because one of the boats had a musician aboard and he played the accordion, and he sang, and all the other Russians were up and dancing and singing along to the songs.
Берегите силы, еще один куплет! Моя бабушка курит трубку и сквозь дым видит волны морей. Ее боятся все на свете пираты и по праву гордятся ей. За то, что бабушка грабит и жжет их бригады ночи стариков и детей. Ведь у нее чудо не осталось, у нее жизнь тяжелая. Бабушка курит трубку, трубку курит, бабушка моя, чего не осталось. Веревка шагает, моя бабушка курит трубку, трубку курит, бабушка моя.
At the end of each season, all of the sails are taken off the boat, and all the canvas and anything else that's on the deck is all cleared away, packed away. The boat is then lifted out, given a good wash of the hull to get all of the growth off, and then it's taken up to the back of the yard and set up onto chocks, and this is where it will spend all of its winter here in Turkey. We're going to replace our old cockpit table with one that's a little bit longer, and this teak on the side deck is starting to split and lift, so we're going to get both sides of this area of teak replaced. We have a new portable fridge which is mounted under our nav table. We need to get a stainless steel bracket made where it's marked out on the floor here to make sure it doesn't move while we're sailing. We discovered this year that our hot water service, which lives in one of the cabins, was never installed properly. and it gets air trapped in it. So this needs to be taken out, all this plumbing rearranged, and the unit refitted, rotated 90 degrees. There are a whole bunch of valves on this boat that go through the hull. You can just see 2 of them in here. All of these and all the associated pipes all need to be changed before next year. It's going to be quite a big job. Our DC electrical panel on the boat, which you can see here, has a number of faults with it. These panels are very expensive and also somewhat unreliable. A summertime project for me is I'm going to make a complete new panel to install here at the start of next year. At the end of each season, we wash the sails down. Here they're hanging out to dry for a while. We then took the mainsail off, and it had to go off to get some minor stitching repaired. We thought we have to buy a new one. This cable here has a crack in this fitting, so we had to replace this whole backstay assembly. It just runs up to a point you can see there in the middle of the frame. This is the top of the rudder post. There's a big bearing here that holds the top of the whole rudder shaft. Those 4 bolts you can see go into a big plate underneath. That plate's fallen in half. Another thing to fix. So we have got quite a few things to deal with on the boat, but it's not all bad. It's still a good yacht. It's done really well for us this year, and actually out sailing we've had really no problems at all for our whole season. Certainly nothing that's stopped us travelling every day when we wanted to. It is going to cost us a bit to get the boat back up to scratch. Boat means bring on another 1,000, or a boat is a hole in the water you throw money into. So anyway, we're looking forward to next year.
Glenn keeps joking that he's going to have to send me back to work to pay,
Yep.
pay for these.
We definitely are going back to work.
But seriously, we've actually been really lucky to have Armit to help us negotiate the deals and working with tradesmen.
It was kind of a funny day. We met Armit, who helps us do all the maintenance. I went through a list of things to do, and for everything on the list, as soon as I mentioned it, he would be on the phone organising someone to either come and give us a quote, fix it, supply it, or just deal with it. So it just makes it so easy for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our boat has been lifted out. It's in the yard now, up on chocks. It'll stay there until we return next year, hopefully about the end of April. We've travelled this year about 1,300 nautical miles, which is about 2,300 and something odd kilometres, so quite a bit of travel, and perhaps not as much sailing as we wanted to do. It's been a bit of motoring through calm weather, but anyway, we've enjoyed it.
Yeah. There's been lots of highlights of our trip during the 5 months, probably too many to mention them all, but just some general things. Exploring new areas has been fantastic, particularly out into the Greek islands and visiting different Greek islands, because each island has its own sort of character and personality. Also sailing with dolphins, the day that we had sailing from Chios to Forney Island, where we had a pod of 20 to 30 dolphins following us for 20 to 30 minutes basically. Yep. And that was just really magical. Even a week or so ago, where we came up close to a very large turtle, and when we visited a restaurant in a Greek island. The food has been sensational. Both the Greek and Turkish food has just been really, really lovely. Yep. And even to the food that we're getting here at the apartment, in terms of breakfast in the morning, the traditional Turkish breakfast is amazing. The other thing is both the Greek and Turkish people have been very hospitable, and we've just had really wonderful experiences. Some a little bit quirky, like our goat herder who swam out to the boat and wanted drinks, or people delivering food to to our boat was really lovely. So it's just been a fantastic time.
Yep, it has. So we're looking forward to coming back next year, and we hope to get further out into the Greek islands, but we'll see how we go. So yeah, that's it from us.
Yay.